You have to build that building right now, huh? Okay. Some films are in the dumpster as the result of an oversaturated market, or for the mere crime of being unremarkable. Then there are those films, they're set up to be the box office hits of the year, the publicity is just right, the cast is just notable enough, and it's just a crap film. On a totally unrelated note, today's dumpster find is 2003's Bennifer flick entitled Gigli. Gigli? Yeah, that one. Gigli stars Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck right at the peak of their very public relationship. Yet, this film is one of the most notorious box office bombs from the early 2000s. And we're about to find out why. Let's just get this over with. Ben Affleck is Gigli, a thug or mob enforcer or something, and he works for this guy named Lewis.
My name is pronounced Gigli. It rhymes with really.
Whatever. The audio for this scene's not mixed very well, so I guess the editor figured the dialogue here just wasn't important. He was not wrong.
There is a certain individual who is creating very substantial difficulties for a dear friend of mine in New York.
There's a certain director creating mental difficulties for the rest of us. Through awkwardly unimaginative thug lingo, Lewis tells Gigli,
It's Gigli, by the way.
Whatever, he needs to kidnap this individual's brother who happens to be a patient in an adult care home. So this clearly suspicious guy waltzes in, strolls up to the kid, and convinces him to leave the home with him. Are we going to stop him, nurses, or any sort of security or staff members? No? Okay. Gigli proceeds to condescend the kid by telling him they're going to the Baywatch, which I guess is the set for the TV show Baywatch. Then he pulls a flashlight out of his glove compartment and starts talking on it like it's a phone, with someone telling him that the Baywatch is closed that day. Yeah, if he was gonna do this, he might as well have just used his real cell phone to fake the call. So we're gonna further insult this character and any potential audience members with real-life brain damage. Good idea, movie! Gigli coaxes the kid into his apartment, which is another brilliant idea. Bring your kidnap victim to your actual apartment. And a few minutes later, your average J-Lo appears at the door saying she needs to use Jigli's phone. A long awkward moment passes, including introductions, Ricky, Gigli, Ricky.
Yeah, it's pronounced Gigli.
Actually, it's pronounced Walken.
Shut up, Alice! Ricky tells Gigli that she needs to talk to him in private, and Badass here thinks he's getting some right then and there, apparently, but no.
I guess he hasn't called you to tell you he doesn't trust you with a task of this magnitude. That he feels the stakes are too high? That he would feel much more comfortable if there were two independent, unacquainted, perhaps even mutually hostile contractors working on this so they could keep an eye on one another?
So Lewis trusts him enough to send him into a home to get the kid, but not enough to actually hang on to him. Sure?
I don't know this guy, but my reputation apparently is pretty solid, so...
Your reputation is what, a chronic apartment barger?
I don't work like this. You want to be a gangster? You want to be a thug? Because I'm the fucking original, straight, first, foremost, pimp, mac, fucking hustler, original gangster's gangster.
Do people in the business really talk like this? Who wrote this dialogue? A 12-year-old boy?
How many cups of your own spit do you think you swallow every day, Larry?
Why don't you do me a favor and just act fucking normal for a minute?
Because he's brain damaged. And you know this because you kidnapped him from an adult home.
No, I'm gonna say 35 cups. I'm gonna say 35 cups of spit.
What's he talking about?
I don't know.
I do. He's talking about how many cups of spit one swallows in a day. Who's the mentally incapacitated one now?
I do jobs of various types. I'm from another place. Somewhere else, Larry. And my name's not really Ricky.
Could you be a little more vague, please?
Then how about I keep calling you Ricky just to piss you off?
You do that. I'm going to call her Mildred.
In every relationship, there's a bull and a cow. In this relationship right here with me and you, I'm the bull.
You're full of bull, maybe. As they're trying to get the kid to go to sleep, he asks Gigli, don't even think about it, to read to him. Without any books in his apartment, he reads the back of a Tabasco sauce bottle to him, and I think it's supposed to be funny? You tell me.
Try it on eggs, pizza, salads, and any other food for a burst of flavor that will tantalize your taste buds.
I didn't think so. Wait a minute, Mildred has a book. Why didn't she offer it to Gigli to read to the kid? So their somewhat hostile kidnap victim is sleeping alone in the living room, which is right next to the front door, while these two share the one bed in the back room. These guys are brilliant, let me tell you. Before you get any notions in your head that this scene's supposed to be sexy, Mildred breaks it to him that she is actually a lesbian. Sure she is. That's why Bennifer made this movie. Not to capitalize on the sexiness of their relationship, but because of the smart dialogue and the captivating plot. Christopher Walken, no! Christopher Walken is a cop, and he's not very good at his job. The cop's not very good at his job. I'm not insulting Christopher Walken, except for his decision to make this movie. That was a bad idea.
You know what I'd love to do right now? Go down to Marie Callender's. Get me a big bowl. Pie, some ice cream on it. Good.
Put some on your head.
Yeah, nobody in this movie did it for the smart dialogue and captivating plot. Walken's looking for the kid, implies Gigli knows something about it, and then leaves. Glad that happened. It turns out the kid is the brother of a federal prosecutor, and Gigli freaks out about this.
Maybe we should check into a hotel.
Really? That just occurred to you?
Dad, I live here. This is my place. No one's getting me out of my place.
Okay then. So they do decide to go out of the apartment with the kid, with suspicious cops hanging about, and drive around with him in an open convertible. But they cleverly disguise him with a hat and sunglasses.
Creating a scene right now would be a bad thing.
That must have been the screenwriter's mantra for this movie. After several pointless incidents and conversations, including one scene with a sweaty J-Lo doing yoga while talking about female genitalia, don't get your hopes up, it's surprisingly unsexy, Lewis tells Gigli that he needs to cut off the kid's thumb and send it to the federal prosecutor brother. The next day, Mildred's girlfriend comes over and fights with her because apparently she's actually an ex-girlfriend, and then she cuts her wrists right then and there. While they're at the hospital with the ex, Gigli and Mildred decide, instead of cutting off the kid's thumb, they will cut a thumb off of a corpse in the morgue and mail it. The best method of shipping they can come up with, apparently, is wrapping the thumb in a single tissue and dropping it in an envelope. So I guess blood and other stuff is not a concern in this universe. Okay. On the way home, Gigli starts whining about how he has to sleep next to a hot girl every night and doesn't get to have sex with her because she's a lesbian.
My life sucks.
The struggle is real, guys. Are we supposed to feel sorry for him? Because I don't. Especially because that night...
It's turkey time.
Huh?
Gobble, gobble.
She is asking him in my humble opinion, the most unsexy way for him to go. Is this supposed to imply that lesbians are bad at sexy talk or something? Because that sounds like it's derogatory towards lesbians. Anyway, they do the deed, and despite that, Mildred tells Gigli that she will be leaving once the job is done. Oh, Pacino, not you too. Turns out Al Pacino here is Lewis's friend from New York who was having the problems with the federal prosecutor. And they all start talking about the definition of the word thumb. Is it a finger? Is it a digit? And then suddenly Al shoots Lewis. Wait, what? Al proceeds to yell about how kidnapping the kid was a stupid idea, and all of the feds are all over his case since the kid went missing, and oh, by the way, the wrong fingerprint was on the thumb they sent, and now he wants to shoot these two. But Mildred somehow talks him out of it. Don't listen to her, Al. Just kill them. End the movie. Save the little bit of dignity you still have left. On their way to return the kid back to the home, they happen upon a beach movie being filmed, and the kid thinks it's the Baywatch. So they pull over and just waltz on in, as you do. Gigli calls a federal prosecutor to pick up his brother, and they just leave him to run around the film location, apparently. Gigli gives Mildred his car because they are going to go their separate ways and leave LA to avoid getting caught, and the kid winds up in a dance scene in whatever's being filmed, as you do. Is the movie done? No, Mildred comes back to tell Gigli that her real name is Rochelle, even though it's actually Mildred, and to end the film on a thought-provoking note.
You know, I bet you'd look awesome in some mascara.
Wow. Just... wow. So why is this film in the dumpster? Well, I can name off a few reasons if you'd like. Despite the director's better judgment, Columbia Pictures made the decision to change the original script from a straight-out mobster movie into a romantic comedy to cash in on the Bennifer relationship. This resulted in one of the least romantic and least funny romantic comedies ever made. It's like instead of actually rewriting the script to be funny and romantic, they just put in funny and romantic music once in a while. As for Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, not only are they clearly not comedic actors, but they were a real-life couple at the time this was filmed, and even then they have little to no on-screen chemistry. Now that takes talent. By the way, the infamously ridiculed turkey time scene? I had seen that scene alone previously, and I gave it the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, surely it's not as stupid as it looks. I'm sure in context it makes sense. There must be references to turkeys earlier in the film, but no, there's not. The closest thing to a previous reference is just them talking about oral sex earlier, and all of a sudden, gobble gobble is supposed to bring us back to that, I guess. The scene is just as random and stupid and poorly written as everything else in the movie, and it's obvious the celebrity actors knew it. If it's possible to ham it up and phone it in all at once, that's exactly what Christopher Walken and Al Pacino did. One thing I can say is thank God the public did not fall for this popularity contest that Hollywood tries to inflict on us all the time. Why do we let one town, one small group of people in that town determine what is cool and what isn't? This studio thought they could get away with a crap movie because Bennifer was hot at the time, but it didn't work. The film only made back a little over $7 million worldwide out of its $54 million budget. It was reviewed so badly in the UK that all of the cinemas dropped it after 1 week. Good for you, viewing public. Way to not let the elite control you. Now let's keep it up. Raise movie standards. Please?
It's turkey time.